started here. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. First item is adoption of the agenda. I do have one deletion, and that is under new business, item A, street vacation. So you can take that one off.
I was going to ask you about that one.
Yep, it can come off. I have no other additions or corrections, so I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
We have a motion made by Gerald. To hear a second? Seconded by John. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Next item is the presentation of the minutes for approval. We should have 3 sets of minutes. Our August 16th, and then we have the executive from August 30th, and then the regular special meeting from August 30th. So there's 3 sets of minutes there. Is there any changes or corrections to those minutes?
I didn't see any. I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion made by Gerald. Here a second.
Second.
Seconded by John. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes stand approved. Next item on the agenda is comments of citizens. At this time, if there are any citizens that would like to make any comments, if you could come up to the microphone, state your name and address for the minutes, please.
Mayor, I do.
Okay.
Somebody else.
Come on up, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm Larry Kleeman. I live at 137 Perry Parkway. Got a couple of requests, actually 3. Is this mic on?
Yes.
Okay. That I would like to present to you this evening.
Okay.
The Roy Finn Park, which is located out on 15th Street in between Petsalazzi and Washington Street, there's a bridge that crosses Windy Creek and connects the playground and shelter house area with the restrooms and soccer field. I had expressed some concern about that bridge actually a couple of years ago. I don't know whether it's handicapped accessible or not. I did go out there, and there is ground entrance on both sides of the bridge. I measured the bridge, and it's got 34 inches clearance, the width of the bridge. And I don't know if that meets ADA standards. I do know this. I've recently done some research on wheelchairs, and an adult wheelchair, wheel to wheel, is approximately 25 inches. So I would think that an adult wheelchair could get across that bridge. So I don't know whether we need a new bridge or not. What I do know is that current bridge needs painted badly. It looks terrible. And I'm requesting that bridge be painted soon.
It's a steel bridge, isn't it, Larry?
It is.
It's kind of arched.
Yes. Small arch, not a
Yeah.
big arch.
Okay.
Okay? So that's my first request. Secondly, the intersection, and all of these things are in my ward. That's why I'm asking about them. The intersection where 24th Street intersects with Boundary Way and with Berglund Hill Drives. Berglund Hill Drive. Currently, there's a stop sign on Berglund Hill Drive when you're traveling north on Berglund Hill Drive and you come into Boundary Way and 24th Street. There's a stop sign there. I think that ought to be a 3-way stop. I really do. Those are 90-degree turns up there. It's difficult to see traffic coming from the top of the hill on Boundary Way into that intersection. And if you're on Boundary Way and driving into that intersection, you have to, there's a sign up there that says you yield to traffic coming down 24th Street. Well, you almost have to get out in the middle of the intersection before you can see 24th Street. So I think that warrants a 3-way stop up there. I'm not sure whose jurisdiction that is in. I don't know whether it's Part County and Part City.
I would say that, because I know 24th Street, that inn is not in city once you go that way. So we'd have to get clarity on that. I do know.
24th Street is not in the city? I believe it is.
Don't think so. That's where Bill
Part of
Simpson
it
lives
is.
on. I don't
No,
know.
Bill Simpson lives, yeah, on the east side.
Yeah, but I don't
Okay,
think the other side is either. I'm almost certain it's not.
I thought there were 3 or 4 houses in the city there.
I think they are on that.
On
But we'll have to look into that.
Or on.
But I do know Pat's working to trim some of the shrubbery there.
I
So
understand.
that'll help.
I understand that, Chris.
In
and
the
that-
meantime.
That can be, that will help, but
Yeah.
long-term, I don't think that is the safest thing that we could do. So, anyway, that's
What the process is with that is we'll have to do a traffic study on it, and typically the police help with that, and so we'll have to kind of review that,
okay,
all right?
okay. My third request that I want to bring up, and this involves Roy Finn Park as well as sidewalks. Excuse me. I'd like to see the city build a sidewalk on the south side of Petzalozzi, running from 12th Street to Spring Hill Family Apartments. That would connect the current family housing apartments owned by the Housing Authority to Roy Finn Park, as well as provide walking access to 12th Street and all of downtown Tell City. I don't know what that would cost, but to me, that makes a lot of sense to do that. In my estimation, that's as important as a walking trail. And so I'm making that request.
Okay. I would
Okay.
think that might qualify for community, no, NDOT call for projects, maybe. I'd have to look into that. That might be an option to, there, as a grant to help cover the cost of that, because it would be expensive. Because you'd have, I don't know, there's a creek there we'd have to deal with somehow.
There is a
I'd have
creek,
to
there
look
is a
at that.
creek there. I understand that.
It's doable.
I don't think there's,
I'd have to look at
I
that.
don't think there's much impediment from getting from 12th Street to Roy Finn Park as getting from Roy Finn Park to the apartments.
Correct.
But the apartments currently have a sidewalk in front of them that goes nowhere.
Right.
So, okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from citizens at this time? All right, thank you all. Moving on, we'll move on to department heads. First, we'll have Chris Toothman with wastewater.
Thanks, Mayor, Board. Are you gonna have the pictures?
Yeah, I'm pulling them up for you right now, if I can see.
For the collection system, we did have a repair on a force main out of Tipsaw Acres. I think there are some pictures of that. We did have to, a flush valve was leaking, and there's another flush valve on that line about 100 yards away, so we just took that one out. That's the one on Rubens.
Hang on, that's your sinkhole. Is that your flush valve there?
There it is. You can actually see the water coming out.
Nice.
So, like I said, we just took the flush valve out and spliced the line, so it is repaired and there hasn't been any issues, so,
There's your repair, right?
yeah, that's the repair.
Okay. I'll go back to your,
What is that, 4-inch, Chris?
I think it's 3.
3?
Yep.
there's the sinkhole.
Yeah. Well, I'll get to that one here in a second.
Okay.
But, next thing was the sinkhole. We do have one developing on the 800 block between 11th and Steuben. That is a future repair. We are aware of that, so if anybody calls in, let them know. We do have locates called in on that, and we will get to that here in the next couple of weeks. Also in the collection system, Louis, with Mel K, our electrician, he's going to install soft starts in 3 of our lift stations. And what these, Wapaka, North, and Schiller are the lift stations he's going to be putting these in. What these will do, these will just make it easier on our pumps when they start. They just won't hammer across the line. They will slowly ramp up in amps and get to their running speed. So it's a lot easier on the pumps themselves, less wear and tear on the electronics inside the cabinets. They also have a built-in overload kit and a built-in voltage monitoring. So this is going to be a win-win for us. It's a little expensive to get started, but it's going to be less wear and tear on the pumps and the cabinets. In the stormwater, that picture up here is that's the one the street sweeper ran into, fell in. Turns out that it was just a previous repair, and it wasn't packed correctly when they put it back in, so we didn't find anything wrong. We just packed it back in the way it's supposed to be, and it's been paved, and put everything back the way it's supposed to be, so it looks real nice there, so. No issue at all. We are also aware of another sinkhole at 11th and Steuben. It's catty-corner from the high-rise, and another one right by Southern Indiana Power, catty-corner from the trailer park there. We are aware of those, so if you get any phone calls, we'll be getting on those right away. Down at the plant, last month was August, our grease trap inspection month. Had no issues with any restaurants or bars or anything, so. Flood wall, when Ida came through, she dumped about 2.8 inches on us. There was a little bit of threat of the river going up real high, but they backed off of that, so no issues, we're not gonna have to pump, so.
Good.
That's all I have.
All right. Gerald or John, any questions for Chris?
I have none.
All right. Thank you. Next up, we'll have Street Commissioner Pat Ballmeister. Pat, I don't think you have a report. Do you? No. Okay.
Thank you, Mayor and Board. I just wanted to report that we had a new member start down there in the trash department. His name's Bart Peters. I think he's going to be a really good asset to the trash department. He's a really good guy. Last couple of weeks, we've hauled off 73.6 tons of trash over the last couple of weeks. So we've still been doing maintenance on our vehicles and stuff. We changed the transmission fluid in one of our older trash trucks. It's about $200 to change that. It would have been a lot more if we'd have took it somewhere, and we did it in-house. Over on the street side, we're still working on grass mowing. It's still growing, patching potholes, yard waste. The street sweeper's been out, and a couple weeks ago I went to a convention in Prince Lick, my first superintendent convention there for streets, and they was talked a lot about sealing the streets. Jasper's been doing it for years now, sealing the streets to get some more life out of the streets after we pave them. And we got a gentleman coming up from Seal Master. His name's Mike Post, September the 29th. It's on a Wednesday at 10 a.m. And he's going to demonstrate this on one of our city streets here. We got to pick out the street we want to get done, and they'll go and blow the cracks out of it, and they'll seal it, put a crack sealant in it, and then they'll seal the street there, and we'll see the whole process. They're going to go through it, and I think that that's going to be a money saver for us if we can get that going to keep our streets in good shape and stuff. Along after we pave them, and then we seal them, and I think we can get Jasper's been getting anywhere from 8 to 10 years longer life out of their city streets by doing this. But other than that, that's all I've got right now.
Just to expand on your street sign, I did reach out to, I think it's Seal Master, and they provided me a list of some of the streets that they had done in Jasper just through the years. I went up there and looked at them, and it shows that they really are holding up well with that. I was pretty impressed with them. If you want to get a look at some streets up in Jasper, just let me know. I'll be happy to give you the list, just to give you an idea. Of course, we'll have our own demonstration. Right. And John and Gerald, you're welcome to stop by that day. We'll let you know what street or parking lot, whatever we do. Right. We'll let you know where to be. I think we got all the counts. I don't see Julie out there. You're welcome. Yes. Any other department heads, residents, you want to come by and see it? Come by. Yep. I mean, it's going to be a process. Something we want to look at trying to save some money in the community and get longer life out of our streets. So right. If we can do that, that's what we need to do.
And it's something we want to do in-house too.
And it does qualify for community crossings funds as well, just so everybody's aware of that. So we can do that too. Gerald, John, any questions for Pat while he's still up here?
I have none.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
To get the mirrors down at the entrance to the Sunset Bar.
Yeah, they're not as big as I would like them, but it's something to start with.
Right, yeah, you can see though coming in and out.
Right,
You can see
right.
if there's any traffic coming, so.
Right.
Yeah, appreciate that.
No problem. All right,
Thank you, Pat. Next, we have Chief Lenny, Tell City Fire Department.
I'm going to yield my time to the new business.
Okay, thank you. Then next, we have Steve Goodson with Building and Zoning. And I believe I've got your monthly report here.
Thank you, Mayor, Board. This report is for the month of August. We did issue 29 permits for the month. 8 of those were electrical for a value of $8,150. We did issue 1 new home permit for a value of $450,000, and that is out on Stardust Road. We did have 1 commercial for a value of $1,200,000. That is the urgent care, and they're up and going. Footers poured, underground plumbing is in, so they're moving on that project. We did have 18 miscellaneous permits for a total of $154,956. We did have 1 demo. That was the one on 12th Street. Chief, that might have been last of July when that really came down, wasn't it?
800 block?
Yes.
The house that burnt?
Yes.
Okay.
But we did, I think, it is on August permits, though. We did have 1 sewer inspection for $15. We did issue 5 temporary licenses for the month. That one's kind of down for a value of $125. So the total for the month was $1,819,321. We did take in $2,204.75 in fees for the month. Now to the complaints. We did post 13 grass letters. We did mow 4 yards, and I think that it may be a little more, 7, and that was on the last day of the month, and we didn't get that on. We did do 1 trash bust. We have 3 letters that went out this month, so we'll probably do 3 upcoming 2 weeks or so. We did issue 3 junk trash letters, so year to date, we have 158 complaints and have issued 38 letters. And I want to thank Pat and the crew for all the hard work they've done mowing. I know we've kept them busy from our office, and I just want to thank you and your guys for taking care of that.
Gerald, John, any questions for Steve?
I've seen them down there mowing on Main Street, 1200 block.
That's every two
Beautiful home in its
weeks.
day.
Yep, every 2 weeks we're there.
I think they passed on.
Okay.
Unfortunately, or
Thank you, Steve.
thank you.
Next, we have Dennis Dixon, Telsey Electric Department.
Evening. We don't have a report for tonight. We're just kind of in maintenance mode, doing rebuilds and tree trim and stuff. But I did want to come tonight and introduce everybody to the gentleman that's going to replace me, Andy Hicks. He comes to us from Rocky Mount, North Carolina, 14 years there at that municipal. And he's already started. He's into his 2nd day, or 2nd week, 4th day. So he just came on board. Also with that, I'm going to announce that Bob Damon is retiring. He is our operations foreman. And with his retirement, Brad Pruitt, one of our senior linemen, will move up and take Bob's place. And with that promotion, we'll have an opening at the line department for an apprentice lineman. So we'll be posting that internally first, and then we will advertise in the paper.
Very good. We're glad to have you, and tell Mr. Pruitt congratulations too.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
will.
Gerald, John, any questions for Dennis?
Go ahead, John.
I have none.
I knew Bob was getting close. He's done that for years.
Yeah, there's a lot of history walking out the door.
A lot of
there.
history walking
We
down the
lost,
aisle.
we lost Mac and we lost Bob, and that's a bunch of history that we've lost.
Yeah, he's done an outstanding job for electric department.
Yep, he has.
You've got one more meeting, Dennis. Board of Works.
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly. One more.
Yeah, they're kind of keeping me in the wings, with stuff that's going on and in process until the end of the year, but I'm officially, retiring in October, so.
Sure. Okay.
But the one person I didn't get to introduce you to is Jeff Hagedorn, city attorney.
We'll talk.
I think.
I'm sure we will. And Dennis, thank you for all your years of service and dedication to the Telsey Electric Department too.
Thank you. I've been doing this for over 40 years, so it's time to go.
Enjoy
Good feeling,
retirement.
though, isn't it, when you know you can retire.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dennis.
thank you.
All right. We have Tell City Police Department. We have Chief Llewellyn. You gonna let Roger handle this one? All right. I don't think there was any, no, there's no report in there.
Thank you, Mayor, members of the board. We only have one update. We're going to be losing a dispatcher, I think, the 13th, Chief, of this month. That's our last day. It's the first chance we've had to have a meeting together to let you guys know. You may have seen the posting on social media. We've made a public posting to advertise the position. We're very fortunate, and I want to thank you all as allowing me to have a part-time roster and maintain that, because that allows us to fill that void. And we do also have a couple of those part-timers that's interested in the full-time position. So, but her name was Jody Meeks. She came from Spencer County with a lot of experience. I knew she'd be sought after probably pretty quick. She's transferring to Warwick County, so I want to wish her well on her new job. And I just wanted to update the board on that we are taking applications to fill the full-time spot.
All right. Well, thank you, Roger.
Thank you.
Any questions for Assistant Chief? All right. Thank you. Next up, we have Greenwood Cemetery, Mr. Alvy Stiff. I believe you've got a report in here. Yeah, there it is.
Mayor, board, for the month of August, we had 6 traditional burials at $400 each. That's $2,400. We had 1 cremate burial at $150, and we had 3 weekend fees at $750. And on sales, we had 2 grave spot sales for non-residents, $760. Total of $4,060 for the month of August. And that's about all I got to report.
Did they get your air conditioner put in your,
No.
no? Well, at this point, you ain't gonna need it. It's gonna be cool enough.
Excavator, you mean?
Yeah.
That excavator's gone. We will get one February 1st.
Oh, wow. Okay.
They actually sent the wrong equipment. Couldn't get one. So we had to order one. February 1st delivery date, and they did give me $2,000 more for the trade-in.
Good.
For the
That worked out, I guess,
inconvenience.
okay. All right. I just couldn't imagine sending an enclosed backhoe
Yeah.
with no air in it like that, no
Right.
windows that roll down. I mean, it's
Right.
pretty, I didn't know they made anything like that anymore. Well, okay, basic model, right? All right, any questions for Alvy? All right, thank you, Alvy.
Okay.
And I do not have a report from Parks and Rec, so we'll go ahead and just move on. Let me change up our agendas here. We'll go ahead and move on to the wastewater adjustments. Myself, Gary, and Chris reviewed them. We all had one that we felt didn't qualify, but other than that, they all looked in place, and so I don't have any questions unless you guys do.
Motion to approve.
Okay, we have a motion made by John here, a second?
Second.
Seconded by Gerald. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Wastewater adjustments stand approved. Next item is old business. We'll start with item A, PSAP update, Tell City Police Department. Roger and Chief, I'll let you guys kind of, in essence, drive the bus on this, but I will touch base that myself, Chief, Roger, Steve Hauser, Tom Hauser, and Eric Dickinson all did meet to work on the new agreement and contract about 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago. And so we're getting close to some language in there. There's just one particular hang-up, and that is the PSAP, who will actually be defined as the PSAP for the county. Will it be the county? Will it be Tell City? And so I think Roger had a few things he wanted to comment on that, and maybe Chief as well. So I'll let you gentlemen make your comments on that if you'd like.
Thanks again, Mayor, members of the board, also the citizens that took interest to come out tonight to hear what we have to say about the public safety answering point. For some of you that don't know what it means, it's just that the public safety answering point operates on a 24-hour basis per the statute, and the primary function is to receive incoming requests for emergency assistance and relay those requests to an appropriate responding public agency. That's the 8 full-time dispatchers and the part-time dispatchers that we just spoke about. know that some of these that you're seeing, that they're kind of reviewed, that we had posted on the slideshow before. The mayor and chief and I made up some things determined by state statute what the PSAP was. Basically, in the interlocal agreement, I agree with the mayor. I felt like we was gaining ground. Financial side, I can't say thank you to Luke enough. We're trying to, take care of that and resolve that. We get to the interlocal agreement part, some of the language in it. We've got county commissioners and individuals that don't believe that we are the PSAP, that we're the public safety answering point, even by state statute. So we left that meeting knowing that that was going to be a big hurdle to cross. And my feeling when I was asked by Mr. Cleaving why it's so important that we retain that title, or why is it so important to be the PSAP, it's simple. It's funding. There's money that was given in the form of statewide 911 funds. I don't know what year it started, but for several years the county's been collecting that money. We had to budget. If you look through the slides or the papers that I give you, Tell City's cost was at $906,000 and some odd dollars, while the county was paying $184. You can see the unbalanced proportion there, and the biggest part of theirs was paid by 911 funds. And when I say statewide 911 funds coming from your phone tax, the reason that's so important is for decades, past administration never knew a thing about this. I don't know, and I can't answer why, that it was for me to discover in my first 3 years of administrator that I realized that these funds were available. It didn't take the county to come and tell us that these funds were available to help fund the PSAP. It took me to find it on my own. Some individuals have taken it very personal. Chief and I have had some pretty tough times right now, and the mayor I know as well has caught a lot of backlash. It's not a blame game, folks. It's something I discovered, and the mayor backed me on it. It's not the mayor's fault. It's not the chief's fault. I discovered this on my own. I discovered its existence. I discovered its purpose and what was eligible with these funds. So if you want to call it a blame game, it's me. Okay? So with that being said, we left that meeting. They wouldn't. That was the only hang-up. The interlocal agreement looked great, I thought. I thought it looked great outside of the fact that they would not call us the public safety answering point. I have 8 dispatchers down there that's trained, would you believe it or not, to deliver a baby over the phone if needed. To give CPR to a lay person to save someone's life. That's not a simple hello. And it's manned 24/7. Have you ever had anyone to call 911 for anything besides the worst time of their life? It's nothing to toy with, guys, and it's time that we need it public. That we are the PSAP. We've been the PSAP for decades. When I think about a PSAP, it's a public safety answering point. The last thing it tells me is the location. That's all we're saying. We are the location, the Tell City Police Department, and we have been for years. They think that we're wanting this title to divert these funds. That's not the case. They're collecting $345,000 a year, the county. In my own opinion, that should come off the top to offset the cost to the public. And our smaller cities, Camden, Troy, who have to pay our local agreement. That's my own opinion, okay? But understand that these funds are out there, and these funds come off everyone's phone tax, $1 per landline or per cell. And in 2023, they are projected to double. So that $345,000 will double to help exceed the cost of operating this PSAP. In the worst time of your life, do you want to call 911 and not get an answer? This is nothing to toy with. This is public safety. And I don't want you to think it's a war between the city and the county, for it's not. We're actively working a joint case right now with the county. Officers continue to work together to serve the public. I know the fire does the same thing. EMS does the same thing. It's not a battle. It's business, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, it's just business. It's kind of different in the way that a business generally generates revenue. We don't in this business. Police departments is kind of like a problem child. We don't generate money, we just ask for it. But this is the way that the state gives back to help fund some of it. But overall, right now, as we stand, you may have heard me say before, I heard from the director say that if we received 100% of the statewide 911 fund, it wouldn't cover 40% of our existing operating costs. So that's why it's important to me. Just a couple more minutes now.
No, you're doing good. Go ahead.
I left that meeting and decided that we'd further research it. Chief Llewellyn reached out to our go-to Indiana Law Enforcement Academy attorney, Tim Kane. Used to be Charles Braun, one of the best I knew. Tim's great. He immediately told Chief Llewellyn, he said, go to Inside Law, type in Indiana PSAP, see what you get. Over 1,000 results returned. Every one of them has the same common definition. We answer 911 calls, we do that. We're open 24 hours, we're staffed 24 hours a day, we do that. We dispatch the appropriate emergency services, we do that. One that really caught my attention was on the back page, Public Safety Answering Point. A 24-hour, again, 24-hour, state or local jurisdiction or contracted communications facility. They want to say we're contracted by the county? That we are. This is a county responsibility all the way around. But we want to retain it. We want to retain our employees. And for them to tell us that we're going to take it over, if they're going to take it over, and the price difference was $60,000, I've never seen that breakdown. I don't know if the mayor has or the chief. I'm not saying it wasn't done. I'm not calling anybody liars. I'm not throwing egg on the county's face. I have never seen that breakdown of where the $60,000 come in. They did say that the main cost was employees. We knew that out of the gate. But they never talked about capital. They never talked about startup costs, operations, whatever you want to say, overhead. You come down there and take the brain out of that dispatch center and relocate it to an unknown location, that price was never given. And I would hate to guess the amount it would cost the public to do just that. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Dispatcher Jackson invited all the public to come to our dispatch center. Our police department is open to the public. Come down and see them in action. I walked in today and both operators' CAD screens were completely full. I had no time to talk to them. I had to turn around and walk back out. That's not uncommon. Is it like that 24/7? No, but it does happen. And I just want to make you understand how important, that's the reason I laid the handouts out today, of how important it is that we maintain this title of Public Safety Answering Point. Otherwise, we're not eligible for any funds from the state. If it's not spent on the Public Safety Answering Point that it's designed to be spent on, and we're not the Public Safety Answering Point, how can we possibly spend any of those funds? Nothing. We can't go out and buy police cars with them. There's only certain things that we can do with those funds. And that's the reason that title's important. Any grant that comes along, we would not be able to apply for it because we're not considered the PSAP. If we're not the PSAP, I don't know where the PSAP is. Indiana State, this is the last thing I want to say. On the Facebook page, Indiana Statewide 911 Board says they come and visit the PSAPs frequently. I've never once seen them. I'm going on 18 years. I've been a dispatcher for over 10 years. I've never seen them. I never knew the funds existed. I reached out to them. I did ask the the commissioners, if they did show up this far south and they did come to visit the PSAP, where would you bring them? I didn't get an answer. So, anybody has any questions, or Mayor, sorry for so much time. It's very important to me. I want to thank you personally for allowing me to move forward with this. I know you caught a lot of backlash that you don't deserve. I had to discover this on my own. It's not like it was brought to our attention that these funds were available, because it wasn't.
Well, Roger, thank you for that. And I stand beside you in all of this, 100%. And back you in everything you've said, because you're right. When you research this and do the definitions, Indiana Code spells out very clearly, in my opinion, I'm not a lawyer, who the PSAP is. And I can't faithfully, unless there's some power higher than I can come up with that can rule, and that we wouldn't be, that I could not sign that contract if we are not the PSAP. It just would go against state statute. And, I took an oath of office to uphold that, and I feel that that's what I have to do.
And Mayor, I know I'm happy to hear you say that, because I wouldn't want it signed unless we were stated as the PSAP.
Well, I mean, even this law thing that you referenced, I looked at that over the weekend. You're right. There's 1,000, you could literally spend hours reading it. It's black and white, to me.
I just think it's time to own the mistake of what's happened in the past. Let the past be the past. Let's move forward. Let's continue to work together. Farragut County has some of the best public service. We visited Hancock County the other day, and in my opinion, our EMA is second to none. We bailed them out of a situation, or assisted them out in a situation that, they just didn't have the resources for. But when Steve and his guys rolled in, and it was a site that nobody would want to be on, I can assure you of that. I was there. I have the utmost respect for them and what they do as far as the EMA, but I'm ready to put this thing to bed, and let's get things back to normal, and keep on doing what we got to do.
And not to mention financially, what the city has lost out on over the past, 1962 I found it when we first signed our agreement.
Yes.
The millions that Tell City was shorted, that we covered at county expenses, not just hundreds of thousands, millions.
Yes, sir.
Millions. I mean, I would love to take time, and it would take time to research actually how much we were losing out on. I mean, it would take a deep amount of research and time, but I don't know if I could stomach the millions that we've lost. And again, thanks to the county council and Luke and David Aitchent, all of you guys, thank you for helping make right what was wrong for so many years. And that's working together. It's not politics, it's working together for the betterment of the county and the betterment of the city. And that's what it should be about. I wish more people would take note of that. This country would be in a lot better place. So we had a few questions out there. Dennis, you had a question, and I'll.
Who is the closest PSAP to Tell City?
Spencer
We
County.
use Spencer County, in the case of an emergency, if our system wants to go down, back in the brain room, we have a switch we can flip to automatically transfer those calls to Spencer County.
So it's Spencer County, how can we not be a PSAP? That means so far away.
Amen.
So many questions I can't answer for on their behalf. I'd love to know what their thinking is behind this, but I have to believe, and I'll say it publicly, it's money.
And with the center you guys got down there, how can we not?
And it's, anything Mr. Hagedorn will tell you, if it's important enough to be defined by state statute, it's important. There's a reason behind that definition and defining PSAP. And it's a pretty cut and dry statute. I'm no attorney.
You can go to any section of the Indiana Code in the first beginning of it. The books are divided into titles. Every title begins with definitions,
Right.
every one, so that we're not questioning, what does this statute mean? Well, there's a definition at the beginning of the title that says this is what it means. So you're right.
Exactly.
Roger, who's in charge of this now?
Yeah.
The city is, we're in charge of this today?
Yes, sir. Have been for years.
We just have never been called the PSAP.
So the county's,
We've been in charge of control at the cost of $906,000 to Tell City and $184,000 to the county. And the county has the biggest population.
so the county doesn't want you to be PSAP?
No.
No.
Just to clarify, it's the commissioners that enter into this contract, not the county council. I'll clarify that.
I just think.
And I'm not trying to bash any one of them at all. I'm not pointing out any of them. Just, someone asked for clarity. I'm just saying those are the ones who actually signed the interlocal agreement.
Right. It's nothing, the mayor and chief and I, we've not made this personal. I can't say that for some of the others, but, his first year in office, I made this discovery, I brought it to his attention. He took the time to listen, and he allowed us to move forward with it. And to save the city of Tell City that much money in his first year, and they're gonna beat him up over it,
About $500,000.
how could you justify it?
When you find out your city's hemorrhaging money, you fix it quick. You're always going to have some bleeding. That's just evident. But hemorrhaging's a big difference. It's a lot of money.
Did they give a reason why they don't want Tell City to be PSAP?
They said that there's more components that make up dispatch than just the public safety answering point. They have repeaters out in the county to extend they want to talk about these repeaters. And it is true. There are county-owned repeaters out there that extend radio frequency. Am I right, Greg, in saying this? Greg knows a lot about this stuff. Basically, they extend radio frequencies for county deputies and rescue members and folks out in the county so they can fire off a repeater and hit our dispatch center. It's just like an immediate recorder that relays it back. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to communicate. So the county does have a vital role in it, but we're talking about the public safety answering point. When that 911 phone rings, who picks it up and says the exact location of your emergency?
But it's a repeater, it's not the center.
No, sir. It's just a repeater.
It's a component of it.
It's just a component.
We had a few other questions. Zach?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Question I had was, is that we received $300,000 911 funds, correct? Or the county?
Between the whole harmless act and the 90-10 split, it's approximately 345.
So you guys have not received that full amount, so do we know where the remainder? And then the next question I've got is, go along with that, is, you know, it seems most of the time when department heads or whoever who come to request money, they come and before the board, whether it's the city council or the commissioners or whoever, you know, there's a specific request for, hey, we need this, it costs this amount of money. Are those, is a similar request made before any of those 911 funds are spent, or is it just spent at the discretion of whoever holds it? So we
generally I can contact and ask. Doesn't mean I'll be approved. So generally, if we need something, you know, I can remember asking Connie and the mayor and the board for their blessing on a new server for $8,000. I can't count all the requests that I've had to have. It's not things I want. It's things that make the center work we have to have. So when I come to the board, or our chief comes to the board for something for dispatch, we come to our board and they have to find it in there. And Connie finds it in our monies, you know, in different line items and you know, general fund or wherever she gets it. I don't know nothing about how she does her job, but I come to my board.
But you guys haven't spent, I don't be out of line here, you guys haven't spent enough to account for the rest of that money, is my point.
No, sir.
Correct?
No, sir.
So do we know where it's at?
No, sir. I did get approval for, and I'm very grateful and very appreciative of the new recording system.
Yep.
I had asked for, and Steve had us a new rate, $55,000. I thought that was great. We had enough he had enough left over that he was able to purchase that. It records all of our 911 calls. Ours was failing. It was actually breaking down for a while. We kind of limping along. So we're getting that installed. We're excited about that. So, but no, I can't answer that.
Thank you very much for your the clarity and honesty and keeping things out of the blue. I appreciate that.
I just wanted to be transparent. The mayor allowed me to do that.
Thank you.
We've got just a few questions. We'll try to wrap it up because I don't want to run too long, but go ahead.
I just want to commend the dispatchers at Tell City, because on February the 21st, 2004, I died in Long John Silver's. I fell down in sudden cardiac death. I was dead for 4.5 minutes. And Jim Jarbo was on the ambulance, and I love that man till the day he died. He zapped me 3 times. He took me to the hospital. I had a pacemaker and defibrillator put in, and I'm here today to aggravate people. I can't say enough.
Thank you for those
I
kind
can't say
words.
enough.
These are our true first responders.
Yes, absolutely.
And you mentioned earlier about your dispatchers talking to somebody who is a lay person through saving their life. They taught her how to save time. It happened. But what I really want to ask is up there. I want to know if your legal system, your attorney, can hold the commissioner's feet to the fire. If they can claim this out here, but where are you spending the money? Are you spending money on maintenance for one of the transmitters? Where is that money spent?
Anybody can make a public records request about any appropriated funds. Under Indiana law and federal law, you can make a public records request, and the county will have to tell you exactly where that money's spent. Yes. I don't have that information right at my fingertips. I would guess that Roger probably has a better idea than I do about the minutia of that. But any of us and all of us are absolutely entitled to know where our government is spending money.
So am I sensing here that because if you've got that information and you're sitting down to negotiate, you got the reins. And if you're still not getting there, then it's like, or you need to take this to the public so the public knows what's going on.
I wanted to let the public know, yes, sir, I did.
So you're running against a brick wall. You got the law, and they're still not adhering to the law.
Right, but I'm not withholding any information as far as where the money is spent, because I truly don't know. I have to agree with Mr. Hagorn, it would be a researchable in the public record, I
Absolutely,
assume.
yeah.
I know some was going some salaries that I found was not eligible. I think since maybe that has stopped, our statute governs, what salaries can be paid out of 911. The salaries that wasn't being paid that I know of
Keeps dropping.
is not legal.
Okay, any other questions before we move on to the next items? Anything, Chief?
Thank you.
Good? All right, next item under old business is vehicle update, Tell City Police Department. You guys are just taking the whole show tonight, I'm telling you.
I promise to keep this brief. We just wanted to give an update. Recently, we've been working with Connie on the budget for 2022. We had 2 vehicles budgeted for that. We always start in the fall, going into, after the budget gets settled, to look to see if we can get any year-end deals or whatnot. What we found when we started doing that this year is that the market for police cars right now is extremely competitive. We had no idea. Our biggest vendor is John Jones, who we buy a lot of our cars from. And what we found was that they're really concerned as well. Right now, they have 10 Durangos on their lot, and they have a handful of rear-wheel drive Dodge Chargers. And, they reminded us that Marion County Sheriff's Department, it's not uncommon for them to call and say, give me everything you got, and, just in one purchase. So after these vehicles go that are on the lot right now, they're saying that it could be 15 to 22 months before they get another vehicle in. The Dodge Rams are nearly impossible to get right now. The all-wheel drive Chargers are nearly impossible to get. The rear-wheel drive Chargers and the Durangos right now, it's kind of like first come, first serve and what they got. So with that being said, with the supply and demand, the cost of them was significantly higher as well than what we anticipated. So I just wanted to let you all know that we're going to continue to research this. We're looking at maybe a trade-in to try to get down within our budget a little bit more. We do have some all-wheel drive Chargers that we actually have 3 of them right now that are sitting in the back parking lot broke down.
Don't say that. You're going to trade it in.
They
they could watch this, Chief. Don't tell them that.
I don't know what it
bring it in
is,
on a
but
trailer?
we have 3 2018 Dodge Chargers, all with less than 50,000 miles, sitting in the back parking lot with broken axles. So they are waiting to be towed to Sternberg's for warranty work. So it'll be no cost to get them fixed. But why are they all 3 same problems around the same time? Don't know. It's their all-wheel drives. The rear-wheel drives are okay so far. So, but it may be a situation where we have an update before the next meeting, and it may be time sensitive, so we might be reaching out by email with you all and kind of keeping you up to speed on what's going on. So,
The Durangos, is that all-wheel drive or
all-wheel drive. Yes. We do have 2 Durangos right now, and so far they've been great. Heather Glenn drives one, and John Allen drives one, and we've had 0 problems, knock on wood. So.
It's a lot more room to
Yeah,
store equipment.
basically it's the Dodge Charger in a Durango's body is what it is, as far as the build and everything. It's just a lot safer, bigger. You can still turn around. That's one of the things that we like about them compared to the Rams is you can still make a complete turn on the Tell City streets without having to back up. So can't do that with
my
the
Ram.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for Chief?
Well, there's money, I'm not involved in the budget, but there's money in there that was appropriated last year for this year.
We appropriated money in the 2022 budget. you know, and like I said, we usually try to order at the end of 2021.
Right.
And we only bought one this year with our general budget because we had CARES Act money for purchase of another one, so.
Question to Connie is, can we use public safety tax money to buy one?
Yes, that's where it is budgeted.
That's where we'll get it.
Yes. That's where both parts for next year are budgeted.
Okay. I'm kind of like, the chief, if we get one, we might want to look at it.
That's what we're kind of thinking with.
Get your name on the list quick.
Yeah.
With
No.
the supply, I'm
Yeah.
afraid that, you know, we don't know when it will be when there's other ones available.
It's
so.
true.
We'll keep you apprised on it as information comes in.
All right.
Send me something.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Next up under old business, item C, motorcycle stunt show. Dave Moskis. Is Dave Moskis here? I can't see if everybody's mask on. Dave's out there. All right. I will comment on this here. We put this on last meeting's agenda and tried to reach out to Dave. We called 4 times and no answer. We reached out to him the day before. We put it on here again. We've tried to reach out to him for this event. I know it was put on Facebook that was going to happen. And I kind of caught a little backlash from a few people thinking, let him have it, let him have it. Well, we can't just let somebody have a motorcycle stunt show in the middle of our street without any safety precautions, liability insurance. You know, the location was probably not the best because it was right out for the train depot. So this is the lawyer guy. He told me to blame him. So
Lawyer's
there you
fault.
go. I get to blame someone. But, and I don't know, there really is no time between now and September 11th is when he was wanting to do it, to allow that to even take place. Unless we'd have some type of a special meeting and a Hail Mary. But I don't see that being possible this year, and I apologize that we can't have it. If you want to blame somebody, blame me or Jeff, it don't matter. But
Lawyer won't approve it without a certificate of insurance.
But we have to have those things, and we did, because a motorcycle stunt show, while it sounds pretty neat, there are some safety risks, and we have to make sure we address those, so. Moving on to new business, we removed item A, so item B is Telstra Electric Board appointment. Just want to update everybody. We do have a board appointment coming up on Telstra Electric Board. Currently, it's held by Missy Noble. She served under since 97, or not 2007, I'm sorry. And if anybody's interested in serving on that board, Missy has expressed interest, but I'm also offering it to everybody that wants to, just to be fair. They do have their board meetings the third Tuesday at 4 p.m. So her term expires at the end of this month. So I'll just accept letters of interest until the end of the month for that, and I'll make that appointment the 1st of October at our meeting. Whoever, Missy or whoever, turns letters in interest, that can do it.
Mayoral appointment.
It is a mayoral appointment, yes, sir. Next item is item C, and Pat, don't be too long-winded, okay? Approve of quote on bulk salt part purchase, and I'll let you go ahead and drive into the fall cleanup right after that. So item C and item D, if you could. We got to wrap this up quick so we can get for our council meeting. So
The salt is for our road salt, the bid on it. We dropped it down from the last couple of years. I think we were at like 85 or 90 tons. We dropped down to 70 tons. But if we need more, we can get more. But we're just dropping it down there for storage purposes and stuff like that. We just needed approval on getting the bid from getting it okayed for that bid.
You got that, Gerald and John? Yeah.
This,
Okay.
this is only company supplying.
Or, well, around here, that we can,
It's,
they've been using them for years, they have been.
And they will deliver
Yes.
to.
the garage.
Yes.
Under the tank.
Yes,
Mhm.
if he wants.
How much is it a ton?
If they deliver it, it is $71.42 a ton, and if Pat would pick it up, it's $66.
And it comes out of
Owensboro.
Holmesboro.
Owensboro, yes.
It's a no-brainer. $5 you can't drive over.
No, especially on slick roads. I did it last year.
I know you did. Keith, I'm sorry, did you have a question real quick?
There's a, does, a guy by the name of Todd West sells salt to the, or from what I've been told, he sells it to the city of Owensboro. Wonder if he could give the city a price.
Keith, if you could give that information, that name or whoever to Pat, we could call on it. It's, I mean, asking for a price costs nothing.
Yeah, right.
But can save a lot if you
That's
did
what I was
request a
thinking,
quote.
if it's $1 a ton or, $50 a ton.
Right.
Whatever.
If you've got his information and the name, just get with Pat at the end of the meeting and share that with him so he can try to look that up. Thank you.
I can get it,
Okay, well, if you could get that,
All right, thank you.
appreciate it. All right, we can go ahead and make this purchase. Do you want to table it, or you want to go and make this purchase, or what do you want to do?
We're gonna be back here in 2 weeks, so it's
We can do it next meeting. Maybe we'll have that other.
table it forward to the next meeting
All
in
right,
13 days.
all right. Next item is item D, fall cleanup, street department, Pat.
We're looking at, like we did last year, this would be a cleanup where we don't go around picking anything up. Citizens bring it to us for $10 a truckload. And we're looking at the end of October to do this, the 25th to the 30th. It'll be a Monday through Friday, thing from 7 to 4. And then I'll have it open Saturday morning too for people who are working during the week. You can't get down there from like 7 in the morning till noon. I'm just getting, trying to get everything in a row so we can get this going for this fall and try to get more stuff out of the city.
And just for clarity, the only people that pay for this are those who actually use it, that bring their items down. It's not sent out on everybody's bill.
Yes,
It's
right.
you come down there for truckload, you pay the $10, and that's it. And it's for city residents only. You have to live in the city limits. You can't live out in the county or Cannleton or Troy or Birdseye or anywhere. You have to live in city limits.
Right.
So just clarify that too.
Did he give out the dates of that?
The
Yeah.
25th through the 30th of October. Okay?
Do we need a motion?
Yeah.
I'll make a motion, we allow the street department to take care of this fall trash pickup like we have in the past.
Okay, we got a motion made by John, seconded by Gerald. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion stands approved. Thank you, Pat. Item E, I believe, was already covered, right? The dispatching hiring? All right. Item F, Betty could not be here, so she sent an email, so I'm going to try to read about chili cook-off and Christmas in the park. So I'm just going to cover both F and G at the same time. Betty says, on behalf of the Beautification Committee, I would like to request the following be added to next Board of Works agenda. The chili cook-off, Saturday, November 6th. Closure of the 700 block of Main Street from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We will be having vendors in the streets, activities, and also by closing the street, it will make the event safer for those attending. Now on to Christmas in the Park. Christmas in the Park is Saturday, December the 4th. Use of City Hall Park from noon till 6 p.m. Events in the park from noon to We will need the restrooms open, so they need to use those. And she does state here that she does understand the COVID-19, and the events may have to be altered or canceled altogether. They will monitor the county's numbers and work with the Perry County Health Department on all the events. And they will follow advice of the community. So basically, Christmas Park is, a lot of times they would give out cookies and so forth, and it'll be the parade and so forth with that. And that's it. So that's kind of things in the past, nothing new except for kind of COVID in it, but it does state that they will monitor numbers, and Betty is very responsible in that, and I feel it is an outdoor event. You know, the chili part, we just have to see. We don't know where we're at right now. We didn't think we'd be in this position 2 or 3 months ago either, but here we are. So we'll have to see.
I'll make a motion, we approve both of these events for the
Okay.
beautification committee.
Okay.
As long as following their stated COVID situations.
Okay, we have a motion made by John. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Gerald. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll call for a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is tax sale properties, and I did request this to be on the agenda. There was a tax sale held last Wednesday, September 1st, I think, out at the courthouse. How a tax sale works is they don't actually sell the property, they sell a lien on the property. A lien does not give you title to the property to wait 1 year and all the process. For those properties that did not sell, the city, county, and other cities in the county are eligible to request the tax sale certificate at no cost. So it's my recommendation that we request the certificates for the Hoff property. We've done this in the past, but was unable to get the legal side of it squared away to make that happen, as well as the Lamar property located at 222 9th Street. That house is in terrible condition. This is the best outcome for that, because what will happen is the timetable at a tax sale is 1 year, and this will allow 4 months, right, Connie?
I think it's 4 months, yeah.
Yes.
So we'll have a shorter time frame where the city could actually take control of the property. The previous owner of it is deceased. There's nobody living in it, so I'm not going to kick anybody out of their house or anything like that. It is my goal as a city to control it, then decide if we want to demolish it, donate it to a nonprofit for demolition or rehab or whatever. But this